You haven't turned on your mic.
I know. Hello.
Hello. Very good morning to you.
Good morning. Good afternoon to you.
Well, it's actually evening here. So how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, better after you've asked. So, um, today we've got, how to say, really interesting questions. I've prepared a number of questions which are, frequently asked by our prospective students, and at the same time, there are some areas which are interesting to me personally. So basically, it's almost time, so we can start. So, hello everybody. Hello, all the candidates which are planning to study in the United States. And um, today we've got a very interesting show. And then today, uh, the superstar of our show is Emily. Today we're going to have really nice discussion with her. We're going to get answers for questions which are really interesting. And for people who do not know me or were watching this video for the first time, my name is Temur, and I'm the founder and then the CEO of Imperial Consulting, and I'm an international educational consultant. So, Emily, how are you today? Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm very good this morning. Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing your early morning with us. We really appreciate that too. So, Emily, we have prepared a number of questions. Today we're going to have an interview with you, and basically, the questions are, let's say, divided into subtopics. Let's say, there are different areas that we're going to touch. Well, basically, if you're ready, we can start.
Perfect.
All right. So, well, actually, we do not know you much, so that's why that would be great if we could start right with a little introduction about yourself.
Sure. So, my name is Emily. I am a second year student in the 3+3 physical therapy program here at Gannon.
Hmm.
I'm 20 years old, and I come from Buffalo, New York, which is just about an hour and a half north of campus. Um, I'm also the oldest of four siblings in my family, so I was the first kid to go to
That's
college in my
great.
family. Yeah, I'm also involved in a lot around campus. So I am a resident assistant in a first year student dorm. I also give tours around campus to prospective students. I'm involved in a sorority on campus and also the executive board of our activities programming board, as well as many other clubs. So I'm really involved around here on campus. I'm excited to tell you all
Yeah,
about
I
Gannon.
see that you're very active in social life
Yeah, for
and
sure.
very busy days you have probably. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Now we're moving on with the next statement. Basically, it's not a question. Could you tell us a little more about Gannon?
Sure.
So, yeah, what do you think we should know about that university? So basically, we have already conducted an interview with the representative of that university, with David Stewart, and so he gave us a very professional approach. So basically, we got answers for our, let's say, questions, and that was from a, like, let's say, professional angle of the view. So that would be great if you could tell us as a student how we should understand and what we should know about Guinea.
Sure, yeah. So for me personally, Gannon is just a very like open and welcoming community. Definitely like very lively, like you were talking about before. We have about like 3,500 undergraduate students, so the
Oh,
campus is like small enough where you can like see your friends around campus, say hi to people as you're walking by, but also big enough where you meet new people. You can run into new people every single day. So that's just really nice. We are kind of in like we like to call it like a big rectangle. So our campus um, is not very large, but you still do have to like get out and walk around to your classes. So you are still moving, getting out and about. But overall, the people here, it's just a very warm, welcoming community, which is what I really like. So yeah.
Great. Okay. So we know that Erie is, we know that Gannon is situated in Erie. And if you could tell us a little more about the area, that would be also great.
Sure. So Gannon is located in Erie, Pennsylvania. So we are actually right on the Lake Erie. So we get all kinds of weather here. In the summer, it's nice and warm, but in the winter, it does get cold. It gets very windy. We get some snow. So I would definitely recommend like bringing some winter boots and a jacket or something, because it does get cold. But it is really nice. We get like all 4 seasons here. We are located, like I said, right on the lake. So there are like a lot of parks to go around here, just to like sit by the water, which is really nice. But overall, it's the weather is pretty moderate. It's not like way too hot, way too cold, but we do get a flux of all 4 seasons here.
Wonderful. So I think that was a really good introduction, and then now we already got basic information, essential information about Gannon, the area, and then the area that it's located. So now I'd like to move on with the questions which are related to your studies, if that's possible. I've always been wondering how, let's say, students in the United States choose a university. So it's always been interesting for me because you've got so many choices to make, right? And and especially when you have like top universities there in the United States, probably that was pretty difficult for you to make your choice. So the question is basically about your choice, let's say. So you're from Buffalo, right? New York. And so you didn't choose any university from your area, but you came to Pennsylvania area and you chose Gannon. So could you tell us a little more about this process, how you came to this decision?
Yeah, sure. It definitely wasn't an easy decision to begin with because, like you said, there's a lot of options for colleges. So even when I was applying to college and looking at college, I was looking and visiting a ton of different schools. For me, though, what really stuck out was my major. That was like obviously my primary focus when choosing a university or college. So I wanted a school that had a 3+3 program, so that's specific to my major. So that definitely weeded out a lot of universities. But even after that, it was between either staying at home for me and going to a university that was like 20 minutes away from my house versus coming to Gannon, which is an hour and a half away from my house. So for me, it all came down to, like I said, like academics, the community. So one thing that really stuck out to me about Gannon was just the community. And how welcoming everyone was. We kind of call it our Gannon family. So that was told to me on my very first visit, and I still see that today, how that lives out through the people. So even on like my very first tour, random students that I didn't even know were just saying hi to me, welcoming me. Faculty and staff were super welcoming, just telling me all about the campus. When I was just on tour with a regular, tour guide. Additionally, like I said, like my major, very good academics here, smaller class sizes, which for me personally was just better. I can learn better that way. The facilities, the campus itself are very impressive. A lot of new modern buildings, technology here, a lot of resources for students, a lot of hands-on resources right here campus, which was really nice. I didn't have to go out and find it for myself. Gannon provides that for you, which I think is very important when you're considering your major. If you're going into like healthcare or something, how are you going to go about like those upper years of schooling? What does that look like? So And also, you know, the price. That's a big thing.
Sure.
Coming here to college is very expensive. So Gannon was able to provide me with scholarship money. So overall, Gannon was just the best choice for me. And I've definitely found my home away from home here at Gannon University.
That's great. So thank you very much for sharing with that valuable experience for us. So and I believe that the candidates who are planning to attend a U.S. school probably will need this a lot. So while answering this question, you mentioned your major, right? So 3+3, and then uh, so there were some other details. And the next question is basically about your major. So could you tell us a little more about that major, please?
Sure. So, like I said before, I am in a 3+3 physical therapy major. So what that means, that is an accelerated program. So instead of 4 years of undergraduate school and then 3 years of graduate school, and it's only 3 years of undergrad and 3 years of graduate school. So for me, that was, you know, obviously important. One less year of school. It's also a direct entry program. So
Mhm.
after the end of 6 years, I will get my doctorate of physical therapy. I don't have to apply to grad school. When I got accepted to Gannon, when I got into the program, I also got a seat in graduate school. Um, so, like I said, direct entry, accelerated, 6 years total, and I take a lot of science classes. So it's definitely very science heavy. Um, and I take about 17 to 18 credits a semester. So that's about 7 classes per semester. And then after my 3 years of undergrad, I will stay here for graduate school, and then I will have like rotations. So I will be going out into the field for a certain number of weeks, getting some experience out there. So, yeah.
Great. So I didn't know that you had so many science classes, and it's really interesting to continue, I think, with this question. If that's possible, could you tell us more about the teaching process and about your schedule, about the size of the classes, right? And about how you study in general, let's say.
Sure. Yeah, so we have classes Monday through Friday, but classes, like one class is held every other day. So we have Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, as well as Tuesday, Thursday classes. So classes are either 55 minutes long or an hour and 20 minutes long, depending on the class. And so I have about 2 or 3 classes a day. So it's not like, you know, like high school where you go to class all day long. You're only in class for like a couple hours each day. So that's really nice because you do get breaks in between a class. So you might, you know, have class in the morning, but you might not have your next class until the afternoon. So
Mhm.
during that time, you can do whatever you want, you know, study. Um, Eat whatever. So that's really nice. Like I was saying, I personally have the most amount of classes that you can take in a semester. Um, so I might have like 3 or 4 in a day, but you have to be between like 12 and 18 credits to be a full-time student. So
Mhm.
it's honestly not that bad for me personally. It was a lighter load than in high school just because you're not sitting in a classroom for like 7 hours a day. Um, Usually the teachers they like teach a lesson via just like speaking, lecturing, or they have PowerPoints. We definitely do a lot of like group work, working with other students. Participation is also a big part of your grade in college just because teachers want you to be, you know, expressing your opinion, using your voice, sharing your ideas. um, so that also goes into like the grading aspect. We also do have exams. So in my experience, I have about like 4 or 5 exams per semester in one class.
Whoa.
So yeah. So usually we learn about like 3 or 4 chapters, and then we have a test, and then we do some more, and then we have a test. So we do have like tests and quizzes, so that goes into the grading as well. Also, like I was saying, just like participation, homework grades. We do a lot of like online things, so like we turn in assignments online. So we do have that online platform. And then I also, because I'm science, I also have labs. So labs are usually like 3 hours long. They usually don't take up the whole 3 hours. But in lab, we do a lot of experiments. So that's another place where we are working closely with other people. So you really get to know the people who you're working with, which is nice. As for class size, I've never really had more than like 25 students in a class. So that's really nice. You get to know the other people in your class really well. You get to have like a one-on-one relationship with your professor. They can help you, learn better, adjust their teaching style as best they can, which is really nice. And I'd say girls versus boys, I think it's pretty even. Pretty equal. Sometimes there's even more girls than guys in a class.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah. So definitely, I'd say definitely very equal. And then how I study, I usually just go to the library. So we have a really nice library on campus with a lot of resources in there. So just kind of like a quiet time, quiet space to study. I just review notes. I like to write out my notes. I've definitely found that very helpful. So that's how I study. I just like to sit down and write it out and go over it either by myself or with like a small group of people.
Great. So now I've got a question to you. Well, you said that you attend classes with at most 25 people in your group,
Mhm.
right? And do you have a permanent group that you attend classes with, or you attend classes like randomly with any people you
Yeah,
want?
so it's going to depend on your major. So for me personally, I have a group of about like 50 people who are in my actual major, but I've actually been able to be in classes with a lot of other people. Just because in your first couple of years of classes, you just have to take like the general studies classes. So like English, history, like psychology, things like that. So that is with students of all majors. As you get older, as you move along through school, it gets more tailored to your major and your group. So that's really nice because I'm not with like the same 50 people in every single class. I'm divided up between all the students. So that's really nice. I get to know a lot of students of different majors, but especially like in my science classes, I have been able to get to know the people who are in my actual program.
So, as I have understood, you're not assigning to one group, right? So you attend classes with different people. That's
Right,
great. I think that can help to build up your network, right? So you
right.
get to know with more people, and at
Hmm.
the end of the day, you will have a lot of friends, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Great. So thank you very much. Well, the questions which were related to your studies, let's say, finished, and now I'd like to give you a few more questions about your student life.
Sure.
So the first question is, do you live on campus or off campus?
Yeah, so I actually live on campus right now. I live actually in a freshman dorm right now, just because I am a resident assistant. So what that means is I live amongst the first year students. I am a resource for them. Anything that they may need, they can come to me. So I'm just here as a resource for them. I help run the building, keep the building safe. So that is a job that I have chosen, that I've taken on. But actually, so first year and second year students are required to live on campus. So even if I wasn't an RA, I would still be living on campus. So I've actually, I lived here in the same building last year, and I had a great experience. So basically, I live in the building. It's called Finnegan Hall. So it's more of like your typical dorming style. So two to a room. and then you're sharing like communal bathrooms. So within one bathroom, there's like 3 showers, 3 sinks, 2 toilets, so plenty big enough. And then there's 2 on each wing. So if one is full, you know, you can just go to the other one. But that was really nice. I had a really, really great experience living in a dorm my first year. I got to know a lot of people, and just, you know, got to learn more about myself, like living on my own, which was really nice. So I've definitely loved dorming, which is really fun. So yeah.
Okay, great. So now I've got a question about, you know, again, it's related to living on campus or off campus. So let's say if you had a chance to choose between them. So living with your, let's say, parents at home and like living on campus, which one would you choose? And could you tell us about the pluses and then about, can you compare them? Let's say we won't be talking about minuses. We'll be talking about pluses only. So what are the pluses of two sides?
Sure. So for me, you know, living at home is great and all, you know, but you always have like somebody right there with you, like watching you, you know, you're never like on your own. Your parents maybe like cook you meals or something, which is nice. It really is nice. But I honestly love living here in a dorm. Um, you know, a sense of independence, sense of freedom. No one's telling you what time to wake up in the morning. No one's telling you to go eat, so that's all on you. So you definitely grow like as a person living in a dorm. You learn how to get along with others. So usually, as a first year student, an incoming student, you will have a roommate. Your first year, I had a roommate. And it was a really great experience. I had never, you know, lived like with another person before, so definitely a big learning experience, how to share your space, how to share your time. So
Yep.
that was learning experience. You definitely learn like a lot of leadership skills, time management, communication, just because you are sharing spaces with other people. Um, so I definitely love living in a dorm. You meet so many people here. Everyone's in the same boat when you come here. So that's the thing that, you know, I forgot a lot, is that I wasn't the only one who's going through this. You know, everyone else was away from their parents for the first time, away from their home for the first time. But I honestly love living in a dorm. Um, it's just a great experience as a whole. You meet so many new people. Lots of just opportunities within the dorm, ways to get involved. So I would definitely recommend living in a dorm.
Great. And one of the big pluses living in a dorm is, you know, you're basically on campus, and then you know you don't have to
Right,
rush, right? Like in the
right,
morning, you can take your time waking up, you know, have
right.
your breakfast, and then you're basically at the university. You don't have
Oh
to
yeah,
go anywhere.
yeah.
Great.
I only walk about like 10 minutes to class, so I could wake up about 20 minutes before class, and then just go.
That's great. Okay, so now I'd like to move on with a few more questions about your social life.
Mhm.
So you probably, you know, get really tired, right, during the week, and probably you've got big plans for the weekend. And so today is Saturday, right?
Mhm.
And tomorrow is Sunday. So you've got 2 days, 5 days of studies, and then 2 days of off, 2 days off. Could
Mhm.
you tell us about the weekends that you spend? I mean, how do you spend your weekend?
Sure. So for me personally, like you said, a lot of work throughout the 5 days. So the weekends are really nice just to relax, to sleep in, to decompress. You know, you have a lot more time on the weekends versus, you know, during the week studying. So I do study on the weekends just to get caught up on all my homework. I definitely take naps, I sleep in. But I also love to, you know, like hang out with my friends on the weekend. Um,
Mhm.
so, you know, you see your friends throughout the week, but the weekend is time where, you know, you can just hang out with your friends, go to sports games. There's lots of different activities around campus, which is really nice. Places off campus that you can go. So Lots of like different activities, like I was saying, right here on campus, tons of variety. We have crafts, live music, like hypnotist shows, trivia,
Oh,
bingo. So lots and lots of different activities. And then there are also groups. So like I was saying, I'm on the activities programming board. So that organization hosts tons of different activities every single weekend. So there are opportunities to like get off campus and go around and explore some places off campus. So I love to do those activities on the weekend, whether that just be, you know, making a craft or sitting and listening to music or like actually going hiking somewhere off campus. So that's usually what I do on the weekends. I like to get caught up on sleep, homework, friend time, but also do like some fun things like watch a sports game or do an activity. So
well, I see that weekends are, pretty, how to say, full, right?
yeah,
And they're productive. I see. You have time to sleep, and you even do your homework, catch up with others, and you have time to relax, right? And in your answer, I heard that you do like that you can do a lot of things outside campus, right? Could can you focus on that particular
yeah.
thing? I mean, what are the things that you can do outside campus?
Yeah, so I know I just mentioned about um, activities programming board. So they're the
Mhm.
board that plans every single event on campus. So I'm actually a leader, a student leader for that. So I lead the outdoor adventure group. So we
Oh,
take students, yeah. So we take students to Presque Isle, which is a park about 15 minutes away. So it's like miles and miles of trails right by the water, bike riding, kayaking, um, hiking, lots of walks. So there's that opportunity that goes every single weekend. They take trips around to like go rock climbing. There's a ropes course where you're like up in the trees. So it's a lot of fun doing that. So there's ways to get off campus that way. We also have travel day trips, which is really
mhm.
cool. So Gannon offers just like a 1 day trip to different cities around here. So like New York City, Buffalo, Toronto, Chicago, um, Cleveland, I think. So I actually went to Chicago last year on
Mhm.
a day trip. It was only $40. That included everything for the entire day. So very affordable, very
Yep.
fun. Um, so yeah, that's really cool. Um, so there are definitely ways to get off campus. There's a lot of restaurants around campus because we are right near the water. Lots of restaurants along the water, things to do on the water. We also have a mall here, so that's only about like a 15-minute drive. So lots of stores, shops, restaurants, activities, fun things to do off campus.
Whoa. Well, if you have so many things to do, and there is a question, which one is your favorite one? Which activity is your favorite activity to do, so that you love doing at the weekends?
I think for me, is going to Presque Isle or just going by the water. I love like the outdoors, and it's just really really nice. You know, if you're coming from a different place and you don't live by water, we live literally 2 minutes away from the water. So
Oh,
I think that's really cool. Definitely just like there's a lot of like walking, hiking. So I love to do those things, just get outside, get a walk in, enjoy nature. So I think that's my favorite thing to do. Even if I can't go all the way to Presque Isle, which is a 15-minute drive, I can take a 5-minute walk right down to the water right here on campus. So I
mhm.
love to do that on the weekends, even in the wintertime, just to get some fresh air. So yeah.
That's great. So you mentioned seasons, right? And then nature. Um, what about the weather? So how do you find the weather there in Erie?
Yeah, so for me personally, I get the same weather back at home just being from Buffalo. But like I said, it's very cold in the wintertime, lots of wind. Um, because we are right on the lake, we do get some snow, but a lot of like the heavy snow goes a little bit more inland. Um, so, like I said, we definitely do get the 4 seasons. So in the winter it's cold, but in the fall it's really nice. Spring get the rain, and then summertime it's hot, so it does get hot here. So
So you have 4 seasons.
Yes, 4 seasons for sure.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, basically, I've finished with the questions related to your social life, and now I'd like to move on with the hottest topic of 2020.
Yeah.
Right? So I'd like to ask you questions related to COVID-19. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not a secret that this this new phenomenon has changed our life dramatically, and of course there are many things, many negative thoughts about this, and well, in my opinion, there are also there were positive things about that too, which made us to be more persistent on things that we do, more flexible, and at the same time it taught us to let's say work more on our personal development. So it's not just something that we do daily, right? So we need to make changes in our life. So the question is, as a student, probably you felt a very big change in your life, right? So how campus life changed after COVID?
Sure. So right now we are on campus. We were able to come back to campus, but that wasn't easy. That was not an easy task for the university. So they put a lot of changes in place, a lot of rules and regulations in place just to make sure that we're able to stay here to be safe. So right now we have to wear a mask everywhere other than your dorm room. So even like for in this building, you are sharing a bathroom. So even when you go to the bathroom, when you go into the shower, you have to wear your mask. Obviously you can take your mask off when you're in the shower, but like you have to wear it every time that you are not in your personal space. So that includes even outside, you have to wear a mask. You have to wear a mask throughout your entire class, in the library. So really the only times you're not wearing a mask is when you're in your room or you're eating. So that obviously is a change, but they've made that change to keep us all safe. Additionally, we do have like limits on gatherings, so how many people we can have in a gathering, just as a whole university, but also like small gatherings. So we can't have more than 15 people in a group, and in the dorms there are like capacities for each room. So if you have 2 people living in a room, each person can have 1 guest. So a total of 4 people in the room, but you have to have a mask on. So there's a lot of like, size capacity regulations. So we haven't been able to gather in a large group. We also have to maintain the 6 feet of social distance everywhere. So classrooms are all spread out. Seating has been taken away in certain areas. We don't gather as a group. A lot of things are virtual, like live recordings, which is nice. And also we have to take a daily health survey every single day that just, checks up on you, how you're feeling. And then professors have to check that app to make sure that we are feeling okay. And then we also have to take our temperature every morning, and every single building that you walk into, there are temperature scanners. So very safe. They've done a very good job with keeping us here. Some other universities around us haven't been as fortunate as we are. They've had to go either all online or they've been sent home. But we've been able to be here since August, and we're planning on coming back in the spring. So yeah, they've done a very good job with that.
That's great. So all the measures that you're taking to prevent COVID, is great. I have to say, you're wearing the mask all the time, measuring the temperature, and avoiding all the gatherings. I think that's great. So all the things are done to conduct classes safely, and so students could stay healthy. That's great. And now I'd like to ask you about the virtual classes you had. So after, let's say, probably you had a tough quarantine, like we watched the news, and then in the US, there were times when you were not attending classes, right? And you had to stay at home. So how the classes were conducted at that time, and then how you basically tell us about the study process.
Sure. So we got sent home in March, last March, and we all had to go home. We were all virtual. We were all online in March to finish off last year's semester. So, obviously that was new for everybody. So it was a lot of like do on your own time, a lot of like pre-recorded lectures, watch whenever, do notes, but hand in assignments by this time. That was difficult. Just because a lot of it was in your own hands, like you had to, be on top of your own studies and make sure you were doing classes. But all throughout the summer, they worked really hard to get us here in person. That was their main goal, was to get us here in person because, obviously students learn better in the classroom. And so we were able to come back in August. And we, like I said, we have been here since August. So with that being said, I currently go to class in person. So I am in person. I've been in person this entire semester. With that being said, though, I do have some like virtual aspect to a class. So for example, like my Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, I might go in person Monday, Wednesday, but I'm on Zoom on Friday. So even though there is still like a little virtual aspect, it's still really nice because you are on Zoom, you're still in the class. Nothing's pre-recorded, nothing's being like posted, you're still live in the class, which is really nice. You're just online. So that's been really, really nice having the in-person, because I know a lot of universities don't, and a lot of universities are all virtual, which just takes away from the experience even more. So we've been very lucky to be in person, and I've definitely benefited from that this semester.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what were the effects that you felt personally with COVID?
Yeah, so obviously COVID is difficult. It's hard. Coming home wasn't ideal. We weren't able to finish our year last year, and this year looks very different. It's not the same. We can't gather in large groups. There's a lot of like restrictions, and things being canceled and just not being able to do what we considered normal last year. But with that being said, there's still a lot to be grateful for. We have been able to be here. We're trying to keep everyone safe, keep everyone healthy. So and there's promising news, hopefully with the vaccine next year. That's very exciting. And we are planning on coming back to school next semester. So even though there's been a lot of upsetting things and it's not ideal, we are still here, we're still learning, we're able to be here with other people, and we hope to be back next year. So that's very exciting.
That's great. That's great. So I'm really glad that you're very optimistic about the future. So this is basically what kind of mood you need to have. So thank you very much, Emily. And I think now it's time for us. It's time for us to move with next, let's say, part of our interview. And basically, that part is, asking for some advice. Asking you for some advice. And as a student, so you are already the second year student, and then you live in the USA. There are a lot of candidates who want to study in the USA. And what would be your, let's say, general advice to prospective candidates who are planning their studies in the US?
Yeah, so I always say my biggest piece of advice is just be yourself. Just be yourself, be who you are. Get involved, try new things, try the thing that you're scared of doing, because you'll never know where it'll take you. You never know what'll come out from that. So I always like to push myself outside of my comfort zone. I think that's very important, to do something that you're uncomfortable with, because then you won't grow. So even coming to the US from far away to go to school is probably very out of their comfort zone. But as a result, they're going to gain so many experiences, grow as an individual. So that's my biggest piece of advice. Get involved, try new things, explore who you are as a human being, explore your interests, your passions. because you'll only learn more about yourself. You only grow into a better person. So
that's
yeah.
great. Very, very valuable piece of advice, I would say. So to be more confident about their choices, and then making steps forward, and not being afraid to study abroad.
Right.
Okay, great. And now the last question. Okay, so we can basically, after this, we can finish our interview with you. So the last question is, um, why would you recommend Gannon as a study destination? Let's say as a university, let's say. So why future students should choose only Gannon?
Great question. So that's a very hard question to answer, but I'll do my best. So
You can come up with three or for like at least let's say three reasons why you believe that prospective candidates should choose Gannon.
perfect. So I personally have found my home away from home in Gannon University. I love the people here. The people here make the university. That is so important, to be around people who have similar goals, values, just energy as you. So the people here are very supportive, encouraging, welcoming. Gannon wants you to succeed. They want you to do your best, and they'll try their hardest to make sure that their students succeed. Additionally, academically, I've learned so much just in the classroom, outside of the classroom. They make learning fun here. Learning is so exciting. And the students, the teachers, they all really care about academics. The teachers are very kind, supportive, encouraging. So academically, excellent academics. You'll learn so much coming here. Additionally, it's just a great place to be. Tons of ways to get involved, lots of opportunity, personal development, professional development, overall, all around, just growing and becoming a better individual in and out of the classroom. So I definitely recommend Gannon University. I would not be who I am today without Gannon. I wouldn't be where I am today, involved in all the things that I am, learning all the things that I am, meeting all the people who I am without Gannon. So I definitely recommend Gannon University.
Oh, thank you. That was very, how to say, that was very motivating, I should say. So people who are watching you right now probably started searching again on Google. So that's great. That's great. Well, thank you very much, Emily, for your time. I think we we got a detailed answer to each of our questions. And thank you very much for that. Thank you for sparing your time, sparing precious time of your weekend, right? So early morning. Thank you very much for you for providing this chance, this opportunity to conduct an interview with you. So thank you in general.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Good luck to everyone. Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Well, thank you. And so, guys, I hope you got answers for your questions too. Probably there were questions which were interesting for you too. And would like to thank each of you who watched this video. Thank you very much. So we can say bye for now. Bye.
Bye.